Now, if I may ask you to give a very warm welcome to your bride, Mrs. Sophie Brading.
Thank you for being here today, especially those who came from afar. In fact, as far as Australia, Amy. I'm so happy to have been able to celebrate the very special 6-year relationship I've had with Matt with all of you. He is my other half, and I'm very pleased to be able to call him for the first time my husband. I wasn't looking for someone when Matt came into my life. When we were together, it just felt right. As you know, Matt and I met at university. The first thing that Matt said to me was yes, in response to me asking if this was the media group meeting. A very romantic start, I know. The career-orientated person that I was decided he was an okay person when he showed me a video he made that seemed in focus, well exposed and decently well framed. At the same meeting, there was another guy there called Sean. Coming away from this meeting, I can remember which one was Sean and which one was Matt. So it was very much a bit random when I sat next to Matt at the lecture the next day, having sort of recognised him. Quite lucky, in fact, that I sat next to Matt. Otherwise, I might have been marrying Sean today. On our trip to London, I started to discover who Matt was. I decided that he was very independent, purely based on the fact that he made and packed his own sandwiches. I guess you don't need much to seem independent compared to most teenagers. Matt had a great sense of humour, which made me laugh a lot. Most of his jokes were about himself. When you think about it, this is really brilliant because he can't offend anyone. And it shows that he's not full of himself. I've never connected with someone as much as I do with Matt. And I've met a lot of people. We seem to have the same opinion on everything, despite having quite different personalities. Matt's an introvert, I'm an extrovert. But even though we have very different approaches, we have the same goals and we get there together. There are some advantages of dating an introvert. Matt is happy and content just sitting on the sofa with me, Leia, our cat, for those who don't know, you should know, she has Instagram. And also a cup of tea. I learned quite quickly that this is genuinely all that Matt needs in his life just to be super happy. This makes my life easy, although we have to bring a kettle and tea on holiday every time. Life is full of compromises. We bring a lot to each other's lives. Matt helps me think things through and appreciate calm moments, and I add lots of adventures to Matt's life. And I update Matt's mum on what we're doing via Facebook. His is like totally blank. Matt and I have had an amazing time traveling the world, and we're excited to keep doing this and tick off our bucket list. We discovered each other's interests. Matt assured me he would not be interested in musicals. To prove this to me, he came to a rehearsal, and unfortunately for him, he ended up enjoying it. He likes to pretend I drag him to shows, but that was really hard to do when he knew all the lyrics to Legally Blonde before even starting the show. I didn't even do that show. Matt doesn't just join in. He's a very talented actor and often gets lead parts. Surprisingly, unlike who he actually is, he gets typecast as the baddie in every musical. It's like they talk to each other. A similar thing happened with my other interest, which is Harry Potter. If you had guessed. Katie Jackson. Being such a big fan, Matt not having read all the books was an issue. Again, Matt liked to pretend he got dragged to Harry Potter things. But who asks to put the Harry Potter audio books every night? And who gets disappointed if the audiobook stops before he gets to sleep because he wants to know what happens next? Matt has changed my life in many ways, one of which is how much tech I have discovered. I mentioned Matt being quite an easy partner to keep happy as he just wants tea. Matt's other passion is Apple products, which makes all type of gifts rather expensive. I learn from Matt every day, and I'm grateful for it. Matt is the sort of person you can bring home to your parents. I have his parents to thank for bringing up such a gentleman. He is very kind and caring. In a sexist world, I feel so lucky to have a partner who makes me feel equal to him. I can't talk about Matt without talking about Staffs TV. Staffs TV, as you now know, was the channel that we created together and brought us together. This was such a huge part of our lives. We were incredibly passionate about this ambitious project, and needless to say, we spent a huge amount of hours on this to achieve it. I remember prioritising Staffs TV over eating and sleeping. I remember Matt trying to shove food in my face just so that I would eat. We were confronted by lots of people saying no to us or causing trouble in the studio, but I believe it's the fact that we had each other that kept us going. We valued our partnership so much that things that the university would typically give to an individual person, not a team of two, we always insisted to be considered as a team. And that's why all the awards that we won as a team. We were joint station managers, and the picture of both of us is currently hanging by the Staffordshire University TV studio. It was such a challenge after living and breathing Staffs TV and prioritising it over everything else to need to hand it over to the next generation. But we are incredibly proud that Staffs TV is still running successfully and won Best Society multiple times. Our partnership lives on in that legacy. Outside of work, Matt met me at one of the most difficult times of my life. My self-confidence was pretty much shattered. I considered myself as broken and recommended to anyone in my life to find someone else. I made this recommendation to Matt too, but Matt decided he could handle it. Matt was patient, understanding, kind, caring, and supportive throughout my recovery. He helped me every step of the way. Hard times will always come at some point or another. So having someone in your life who can help you through those times is wonderful. Matt is my go-to for anything that happens in my life, the good and the bad. I'm grateful to him for accepting all of me, even the difficult sides, and for encouraging me to be who I am and follow my dreams. It is no exaggeration to say that I only got through these past few years thanks to him. I owe him everything. Matt is my best friend and the love of my life. We like spending every minute together and never get tired of it. Matt and I stayed up night to work on a project until 6 a.m. at uni. As it basically was already morning, he didn't go home. Following this, he never went home. This was 7 years ago. I'm so excited to continue spending the rest of my life with you. I feel so happy that today we were able to share our commitment with our friends and family, and most of all, I'm so happy that you are now officially part of my family. Thank you.